Good morning, good morning. Happy Sunday. Welcome to another episode of Clangin and Bangin with Mikey, episode 269. And first things first, happy post Valentine's Day. And I successfully avoided most people. I had to go to the grocery store yesterday, and I've never seen more guys, or even on Friday too. I've never seen more guys scramble for roses in my life, bro. I really haven't. It's crazy, the amounts of money that people will spend, you know, for a fake ass holiday. Now I could see like birthdays, special occasions, shit like that. But I don't know. For me, man, like Valentine's Day has always been a weird subject, right? I remember growing up, I think I must have been in the third or fourth grade, and we did this Valentine's Day thing. Like people wrote notes, and you drop them in your box. And I don't think I ever got one note. Like nobody dropped anything in my box. And I always thought that was weird. Because I wasn't a weird kid growing up. I wasn't, an asshole per se or anything like that. Um, I was like 7 or 8. And it kind of just stuck with me. And I developed very low self-esteem and self-confidence because of that. And probably because I wore leg braces and I walked funny. I was pigeon-toed for the most part. I was shy. I was naturally shy and quiet, believe it or not. Most people don't believe it now because it's like how outspoken I am, right? And I think I did Valentine's Day once, and that was back when I was in college. But I never really went out and like got roses for anybody. Not even a single rose. I just never really did anything like that. I was never fond of spending money and going out to a fancy ass restaurant. Hell, I remember when I graduated college, and my mom, she had to force me to go to a graduation dinner. When I graduated college, I'm like, for what? I don't need to do anything. And my mom asked me, she's like, oh, what you want to do? Just want to go back to the house and chill. She's like, what? Yeah, I don't want to do anything. Which I didn't. I didn't like, having to get, not dressed up, but just I didn't like the fact that I had to like, you know, just go out there and just make it all about me. Like I've never been that way. And I always felt that Valentine's Day was just like just that. And I've always thought it's weird because it's like the same guys who say like, oh well, like you know, posting photos of the significant others on their social media pages saying, oh yeah, babe, I love you, yada yada yada. Reality is all bullshit because these are the same people. And when I say dudes, I mean gender neutral. Excuse me. These are the same people cheating on their significant others, or whatever it was, right? I'm more of like a birthday type of dude, maybe hell, maybe even Christmas. Depending on where the relationship is. But in all my relationships, I had a tendency to celebrate birthdays more than anything else. You know, I remember I got my ex girlfriend. I think I got her a crew neck of her favorite football team, and a few other things. And I was always big on cards. I would spend so much time in Hallmark, you know, picking out like 3 or 4 cards. And I would have them, the girl at the register be like, hey, can I ask you a favor? She's like, yeah. I was like, oh well. It's like if you were to, out of these 4 cards, um, if can you read each one of them, and can you tell me if you were the one receiving the card, which one would you want to receive? And 99.5% of the time, it worked. I remember once I was in Hallmark for so long, one of the girls asked me, she's like, oh, like, you've been in for like about 20, 25 minutes. Is there anything I help you with? Is like, I'm just trying to pick out cards. And I told her, like, I have this really, really bad habit of trying to find the best card. Or sometimes I just take a blank card and I write a poem in it, And that's what I do. But, yeah, I've always thought that was strange. That people put so much emphasis on Valentine's Day. I've always thought that was weird. I had this one girl recently ask me past week, oh, she's like, oh, so what you and your mom's doing for Valentine's Day? I said, not a damn thing. She's like, what? Why? I said, Valentine's Day is for, my wife, my girlfriend, the mother of my kids if we're still together. Not for my mother. Like, I'm sorry. I've always felt that was weird. Like, like you're not gonna go out there and get her flowers. Like, no, I'm not. It's not my fucking job. It's like, the nigga that died 14 years ago, that was his job. That nigga was still alive, yeah, that nigga would probably go out there and get her flowers. Not me. I'm not that nigga. No. But yeah, man, it's like, it's another thing too. Forget the holidays, forget all this shit going on. What I really want to point out too is, like, man, don't ignore the red flags. Like, don't ignore something that you know that isn't right. Don't ignore something just because you're getting laid, and vice versa. As I approach 40, I'm beginning to think, like, damn, it's a really good thing that I don't have any kids. That I don't have anything holding me back or holding me down, or, because imagine you having kids with the wrong person. Imagine you having kids with somebody who just doesn't want to grow up and get better, and it's like want to do better, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, kids are great. And I was stopped in the grocery store. I was waiting to check out, and there was this grandparent obviously with her grandkids, and her grandkids don't listen to shit. They real fucking bad. So I made a comment to the cashier because the cashier was telling me about it, and I told the cashier straight up, I said, yeah, like, those kids are bad as hell. They're like, don't listen for shit. And she started laughing. And she's asking me, like, oh, do you have any kids? Like, no, 0. And then she's like, oh, X, Y, and Z. And then she said something. I said, well, she asked me why. I said, oh, well, I just haven't found the right person yet. And number 2, like, this is gonna sound selfish as hell, but I just don't feel like stopping my life and stopping what I got going on, and having to put my life on pause is an option for me right now. And she looked at me, she was like, what? I was like, yeah. It was like, because don't get me wrong, kids are great. I love kids to death, but whatever you had going on takes a back seat, whatever you have going on, like, it's not the main priority anymore. Like, that human being is. And I said, like, that's not the scary part. The scary part is having kids with the wrong person. You know? Like, I've seen how some parents talk to their kids. I've been on FaceTime calls or phone calls where, you know, the mom is yelling at their kids, telling the kids, I'll beat your ass, this and this and that, yada, yada, yada. I see how miserable it is, bro. It's like, I don't want to deal with that, bro. It's like imagine dealing with somebody that emotionally unstable. That who doesn't have control of their own life. It's like, or like, better yet, who lacks the boundaries, to get better, and the way I look at it is like, yeah, like you should have the boundaries. You should be wanting to get better, but it's like if you don't get better, then it's like, who do you have to blame? Like I know this one person, I should say. They were married for a year, and within that year, they literally got married at the beginning of the year, and by the end of the year, they're fucking, like, they were done. And that, like, they had filed for divorce and everything. And, like, in the process of them getting married, she gets pregnant, and she's all telling me she's telling me the story about X, Y, and Z, how he's a deadbeat, he's this, he's that, and I'm like, well, it's like, and I said, well, like, that's what happens when you don't know somebody. That's what happens when you don't know what they're really like. I can't remember this name of this video, but there's this old auntie. Love the video to death. I just can't find it, but it made such an impression on me. The lady goes, she's like, yeah, she's like, if you want a healthy relationship that lasts decades, take your time in getting to know somebody. If you're a spender and if they're a saver, or vice versa, learn that. Learn about their finances. Learn about if they have, what their credit score is. Learn about how they manage money. Learn about any history of family health diseases, either mentally or physically. Learn about all that shit. Learn about everything. Like if they have kids from a separate relationship, develop a relationship with those kids. Develop a relationship with with the ex-spouse or the ex-girlfriend or the ex-boyfriend, or the ex-wife, the ex-husband, whatever it is. Have a relationship with, develop a relationship with those people, because they will tell you shit that you don't know yet. They will expose you to red flags that you have no idea exist. Because I've seen people get involved with people and get financially ruined. I've seen people waste time or waste years, waste decades with people that they have no business being with, and like they have to unpack fucking 10, 15, 20, 25 years of fucking trauma. I've seen people have a gang of kids by a motherfucker who's a bum, and everybody else around it knows that this person's a bum. But when it comes down to it, they don't have the wherewithal or the common sense, I should say, to get out of the situation. I remember once somebody said, like, oh, how come you didn't tell me? They're like, yo, it's not my place. And they were like, what? It's like, yeah, it's like it was your relationship. We knew it was bad for you, but you have a tendency to make bad decisions when it comes to relationships. And it's like the very few good relationships that you do have, you have a tendency to sabotage that motherfuckers. And it's true. Me and a homegirl was just talking about this the other day, and that's why she said like, yo, it was like, that's why she said like that honeymoon phase is bullshit. Her words. And I go, what you mean? She's like, think about it. It's like if everybody, acted that way throughout the relationship, that wouldn't be real. And she was like, everybody puts the best effort forward, fucking 6 months to a year, and then after that, you start seeing all the cracks in the foundation, And I listen to a lot of podcasts and a lot of clips on, about relationships. And one of the dudes online was saying like, yo, it's like, don't don't expose somebody to a type of energy that you can't maintain. And it's true. It's like, if you're the constant, be there for everybody else and all the other shit, X, Y, and Z, is like, if that's the case, then be that. But at the same time, like, don't think that it's like it has to be like, oh my God, this and this and that, yada yada yada. It's like if you don't know how to regulate yourself, and let's say you're gonna do something traumatic, verbalize that. Stop thinking that people can read your mind. Stop thinking that people know what's going on with you when we don't. And I think that's where a lot of people get it fucked up at. They think that oh shit. They think that that their defense mechanism by walking away from the relationship, not just mentally, physically, and emotionally is a good thing, but it's a form of protection. I'm like, no, it's not. And granted, yes, everybody goes through something traumatic. Like the older you get in life, the more traumatic shit you're gonna go in, that you're gonna experience. I don't care who the fuck you are. And what's interesting to me is that a lot of these people who are like this, they have a tendency to want to exert control or want to establish control. And I'm like, you can't even have a healthy relationship with yourself. How can you have a healthy relationship with somebody else if you can't even have a healthy relationship with you? And a lot of people will look at that statement and think I'm a hater, but it's true. It's like most people who are in toxic or chaotic relationships is like, what it boils down to is that you don't have a healthy relationship with you. So you go looking for what you think is healthy in other people, and it's not. And but getting back to like what my homegirl said about the whole honeymoon phase, what she said was true. It's like a lot of people get married within that window, and I'm like, nope, sorry. I got a 3 to 5 year plan. I gotta see you in all seasons. Summer, spring, winter, and fall. I gotta see you in your happiest moments, and I gotta see you in your saddest moments. Because you can't hide everything. It's impossible. It's not gonna work. It's like, I remember once, and I'll never forget it. This former friend of mine, right? Me and her are talking, and she was saying all this stuff, and then she mentioned her ex, and then she's like, "Oh well, like I got divorced," and I only knew her post divorce, right? Because I had know how I met her was through a high school classmate of mine, and they were together. So like, okay, cool. And so So she's telling me the story about how she got divorced from my first husband. And I was like, okay. So I was like, oh, like you got divorced because or she said that she got cheated on. I was like, oh, okay, I'm like, and I knew she got divorced. I just didn't know what for. And the topic of cheating came up, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, like, and she's talking about her ex. I was like, oh, like that seems like a valid reason to get divorced. Like, why would you want to stay with somebody who cheated on you, right? And she goes, oh no, I didn't get divorced because you cheated. Like, I got divorced because I wasn't happy. And I go, oh, okay. But how do you explain him cheating on you then, right? Because if you're saying you got divorced because you weren't happy, then what is the what's the what's the what's the antecedent that led to the getting divorced? And she said that, oh, I got divorced because I wasn't happy. Okay, but how do you explain him cheating on you? And then she goes, well, during the divorce proceedings, I found out he was cheating on me, and I stopped there right there and I said, like, how can somebody cheat on you if you're legally separated? She's like, what? I was like, yeah. Um, I was like, and how do you know that he was seeing somebody else? And then I believe she said that she showed up to the court hearing or one of the court hearings or something like that too. And then she got all distraught and she felt a certain way. And I said, look, it's like he didn't cheat on you. You legally can't cheat on somebody when you're legally separated. You know? And she was like, wait, what? I was like, yeah. It was like, you're talking about him as if he did something bad. It's like you literally said that you got divorced because you weren't happy. And now you're upset that he's happy with somebody else because, and then you want to be mad about that? It's like, where's the logic behind that, right? And there is no logic behind it. There was no logic behind it. And thankfully nothing happened between me and her. You know, we kept it as that because, and when I say nothing happened, I mean we didn't even fucking even make out. It was like that's how turned off I was about the situation. And then there was a bunch of shit that happened where it was a bunch of red flags going off, and I'm like, yeah, no, like this isn't cool. I remember I threw a party at my house, and I posted a photo, just me and her, and I wrote the caption, posted the caption, and then somebody commented on it. And he said, "Oh, you guys look like a nice looking couple." And I didn't think nothing of it because that's dude's opinion. Like he's entitled to his own opinion. Several months later, we get into this argument, and she keeps talking about this photo, and I'm like, "The fuck are you talking about?" You know, because this is 3-4 months later. Like, what photo? What are you talking about? You know? And she goes, well, the photo from your house, from your party. I'm like, you mean the one we took like 3-4 months ago? She's like, yeah. And she's like, well, like I saw the comment, on, that the guy left. How come you didn't correct him? I was like, you mean the photo that you liked too? You talking about that photo? And I told her, number one, what makes you think I didn't correct him? I said it, even if I didn't correct him, which I told her which I didn't, that's his opinion. He's not wrong for having his opinion. He didn't say, oh, you guys, how long have you guys been going out or this and this and that? All he said was that you guys look like a nice looking couple. He's not wrong about that. And I said, why are you bringing this up several months later. I was like, you talked to me that night. After you left my house, you talked to me. Not once did you bring that shit up. And now you bring it up several months later. It kind of makes me wonder, what else are you trying to stockpile against me? What else are you trying to use against me? And she was like, wait, what? I was like, yeah. It's like you haven't mentioned anything about that until you tried to make it about you. And like when it didn't work, now you're sitting there looking stupid. Like, make it make sense, man. Seriously, make it make sense. And and when I hit her with that, she didn't have no rebuttal. You couldn't rebuttal that. But to go back to what she said about her ex-husband, I said, you can't cheat on somebody who's legally separated from you. And I told her, anybody can show up to a court hearing. As long as the court hearing's open to the public, anybody can sit in them pews. Anybody can hear what's going on. It's like the hypocrisy of this shit is laughable. The amount of people who sit there and try to play victim is fucking comical. Like, there is some shit you never forget. But the fact that I had a former friend walking around telling other people, oh, I got divorced because I got cheated on it. And then when you do a little bit of digging, you come to find out that it's not even that. You come to find out that it's bullshit, you know? And this is the same person that would hold people accountable for quote unquote not being truthful, but yet, bitch, you're not truthful to yourself. You know, I remember same former friend. She had another friend of hers, and I guess it was a thing, you know, with all her friends, because they had no boundaries when it came to relationships. And her friend was in this back and forth on again, off again relationship with this other, you know, with this other person. And I guess the girl's ex-girlfriend had gone through their phone and she had saw that, you know, the text messages between my friend and, you know, and her, and they were talking about the relationship, and like she got all fucking, she lost her shit, you know, like my friend's ex-girlfriend lost her shit, you know, called my friend at the time and everything too, and like this is when like we were kind of teetering on like, okay, are we in a relationship, you know, are we not, whatever it is. And I remember telling her like, yo, it was like, number one, like, fuck how she came at you, but number two, she's right. She's like, what? I was like, yeah. It's like this is the third or fourth time that they've broken up, you know, over the same thing. And it's like, it's getting to the point where it's like your friend doesn't have any fucking boundaries, and neither do you. Because I told her, it's like, how do you sit there and like hear the same thing over and over again? It's like, after a while, you get tired of hearing about it. It's like me talking about my ex every fucking time that like people bring up relationships, right? Now, if it's relatable, then great. Yeah, I'll bring it up as an example. But I'm never gonna sit there and let a friend of mine go through the same shit. But like, no, it's like, bro, it's not them, it's you. You know? Because you keep going back, you keep doing X, Y, and Z, you have no fucking boundaries. And I hate to break it to you, but it's the truth. Because anybody who does that shit after a certain point in time, that means you like the attention. That means you like what's going on. That means you have nothing else positive in your life that's beneficial to you. And I said, and I told my former friend at the time, I told her like, yo, it was like, you need to establish boundaries with this person, and you need to, have firm boundaries. Because the one thing with that individual was like, she would always say that, oh, I'm trying to do this, trying to do that, trying to do this and that. And I'm like, I told her like, if you're trying to do something, you're doing nothing at all. And she was like, what? I was like, yeah, if you're trying to do something, it means you're doing nothing at all. It's like, so stop saying that you're trying to do something and actually do something. You know, stop thinking that you can just bullshit people and people are gonna believe that. You know, stop thinking that you can just tell people exactly what they want to hear and people are gonna believe that shit, because nobody does. You know, after a while, nobody does. You know, it's like I'm big on people talking about their goals, which I'm like, yo, or after your goals, whatever you want to do, go off and go do it. But please don't sit there and think that all you have to do is talk. You know, because after a while, people gonna be like, okay, like you've been talking about this for whatever it is. You know, I've had people talk to me about doing a bodybuilding show, but they never hire a coach. They don't hire a nutritionist. They don't even buy a fucking meal plan. And I'm like, but you keep talking about doing a show. You don't do the 3 things. So how can you do the 4th thing, which is fucking show up consistently at the fucking gym? You know, and people want to say, oh, I got kids, I get it. But you know what? You keep telling people you want to do some of this shit that you have to make sacrifices. You know? This shit is not easy. It's not cheap. It's expensive as fuck. You know? And that's why I don't really talk about my goals. I don't really talk about what I got going on. I just know for a fact that, okay, like, this is what I want to do. This is what I got to do. Let me go off and do this shit. And let me go off and just get this shit done. Because if I don't take my goals seriously, I don't care what it is. It could be something as me releasing my music on time, or me holding myself accountable, you know, with reaching a weight loss goal. By the way, I'm 2.5 pounds down from last week. Yay me. Probably was a stomach flu, but it worked. I lost 2.5 pounds. But yeah, man, hold yourself accountable. You know, it's like, stop looking for other people to come be like, oh yeah, you're like, no. Like, no. Like, be accountable for what you want to do. And set goals for yourself, set benchmarks, and go after what you want to do. Stop thinking that other people are going to be like, oh yeah, like, no. Because most people, they're going to be like, yeah, after a while, all he or she does is talk. And lastly, and this is probably going to rub people the wrong way, if you're constantly getting left on red, left on relationships, left in fucking confusion, and when I say left in relationships, left in relationships, I mean being left meaning not know what the fuck's going on. I mean cheating. If those things are constantly happening to you, it's you. I hate to break it to you, but it's you. We live in a day and age where people's lives are tethered to their phones. The only time this shit don't work is when the fucking Wi-Fi goes down, and then oh my god, right? Yeah, what the fuck you do? Welcome to 1995, motherfucker. Go work on your social skills, goddammit. But yeah, that's just something that a lot of people don't realize, or they don't want to come to terms with that. I'm like, yo, it's not the other person, it's you. If you're constantly getting cheated on, constantly getting left, then it's you. Like you can sit there and run from your problems, or jump from relationship to relationship. It really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's not what it's not what you know you think it is. It's the reality of the situation. I've told my best friends this. I've told people this too. It's like, yo, it's like happy people don't cheat. So if every relationship you're in, people are cheating on you, or you found out that people have cheated on you, or the other person have told you that they've been cheating on you. After a while, if that keeps happening in every relationship you've been in, it's not really the other person. It's your fault. And when I say your fault, I mean it's like there are red flags all over those situations. Stop ignoring those situations. Just start treating those situations as such. Like you don't get to sit there and and create a situation like that, or be in a situation like that, I should say, and think that, oh, I can do it, or like it's not me, it's them. It's like, no, it's you. The common denominator is always you. That's why as I've gotten older, and I wish I knew this in my 20s, I would have saved myself a lot of fucking heartache. Um, don't force conversations. Don't force people to see your worth. Don't force people to sit there and be like, oh yeah, X, Y, and Z. No, it's not that. It's not them per se. It's you and your inability to be real with yourself, and your inability to sit there and be like, oh, like, yeah, I'm fucked up. How I handle shit is fucked up. The guys or the girls that I pick are fucked up individuals, and I'm I'm in no way, shape, or form hating on people. Who's ever gonna see these videos, whoever does watch my content, I don't hate on people like that. I just look at the realness of it, and the realness of it is simply, a lot of the times, it's not the other person. It's you. Um, and having the ability to recognize those red flags, and it's like, yo, red flags don't lie. People do every day. And what I mean by that is, to break it down in simpler terms, patterns don't lie. Behavior never lies. People do, though. And people lie every day. Sometimes to you, maybe even about you. But people do lie every day. And the one thing that you can count on is that behavior will tell you exactly who you're dealing with. So do with that what you will, man. All right, y'all. This is about 40 minutes of your life that y'all won't get back. Hope y'all keeping it 40. Hope y'all keeping it 4Ps. Private player, positive pushing. I need to put that on a t-shirt. Uh, but yeah, enjoy your Sunday. Um, Last thing, man. Understand that relationships are difficult. Understand that relationships require work. And if you're not ready to put in that work, leave people alone. Don't don't walk into somebody else's life and fill their life up with hope and like X, Y, and Z when you're not ready to sustain that energy. Don't do that. It's not fair to the other person. It's not fair to you, and you end up fucking over a lot of good people because you wasn't ready. And if you're not ready, stay the fuck on the sidelines. All right, y'all. Peace. And like I always say, know your worth because you're better than what you are. All right, y'all. Have a good Sunday. Later.